2021 Dynasty tight end rankings. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, bell. Does the bell matter? Subscribe. I like the numbers.
What does bell mean?
The bell, you click the bell, that means that they're going to get a notification when you put a video up. But I personally, bro, like, I've subscribed and hit the bell. It's like, you know, if I like you as a channel, I come back. I find you. I don't think the bell, maybe it matters to you guys. I'll tell you what would help out a lot is if you subscribe. And if you go onto iTunes and Spotify and find Fantasy Football Turds podcast, rate, review, subscribe, and let anybody else know if you think that what we're saying is valuable that's in the Dynasty community. You know, hit us up. Also comment, and you know, that stuff really does help.
What I'd like to see too is if you guys are interested in anything that we're not talking about and you want us to talk about, please make a comment, because there's often times where I'm searching.
Yeah.
I'll go to my like ones that I listen to every day,
and
I'll just scroll and be like, oh, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
That's a good
Ooh, these
point.
guys are talking about quarterbacks, and I'll click on that and listen to that one. So
that's a great point.
Like, what do you guys want to listen to?
Yeah. That's because, you know, we do that all. Yeah, I do that all the time. Like, not every video is something I really care about. Somebody made a good point the other day. It's like, I'm sick of buy low, sell high videos. Like, I'm with that. I'm going to avoid making those videos. Like, we're going to talk about buy low, sell high all the time. I'm not going to make a video about it. I want to make some shit that's hopefully, you know, I think rankings are valuable. So we're going to do rankings. Honestly, rankings are not even that fun. It's way more fun to talk trades.
One thing that I don't see a lot on podcasts or any kind of media is like trade value, trade strategy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like,
the other thing I want to throw out there, I don't know if you guys would be interested as listeners, but I would love to do live stream where we do roster breakdowns and real trade questions. The way, like, I know that there's a lot of places this happens, especially on Reddit, but like OG ESPN, they used to have like every Saturday live chat with Carabel, and you could just throw out your trade questions. If you guys want to do that, I would love. I could do 2 hours of throw me your trade idea and let's and you know, maybe I'll double back and ask your roster construction, because that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in that, I would love to do that. I would say me and Brett, you know, we probably lack some knowledge like on the actual scouting level. But we are fantasy football players, and I would kind of hard sell this. We're pretty good traders. Like, me and Brett trade constantly, and we do very well at assessing value. Like, you're even more than me, but we're both all in on trading all the time. And I really think that like half the teams in our league, if they just took our advice on some of the trades, they'd be way, way, way better.
There's often times where I'll sell a trade, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, I'm going to throw you this guy too, because this is what you should have asked for.
Right, yeah,
like,
you didn't even play that right.
Like, you know, I was trading Joe Mixon, and I also had remember I traded Hunter Henry, and I had Parham on the bench.
Right.
And I was like, yo, you should ask me for Parham too.
Right, get that back up.
I'm just going to give him to you, because
I'll sell you. You are excellent at that. I feel like I'm pretty good at trades, but I remember that one time you said it was this huge trade that I had built. But then you were like, hey, get LaMichael Pirine. And obviously he turned out to be whatever, but I flipped LaMichael Pirine for a 4th rounder. And it ended up being it would end up being super valuable to me to get that little extra
it's like,
piece.
What's LaMichael Pirine to that guy? He wants this trade done.
Yes.
And if that's the little piece that you get on the back end, he doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
But now you ended up with either probably, as of right now, the starting running back for the Jets.
Yeah, technically he is the starter.
A 4th-round pick that you can turn into a good IDP player.
Exactly. Yeah, we can get a great. So I might move this whole section to the front of the video. We got number 12, Zack Ertz. I put him on there just because I felt like I think he's a huge buy low right now. Like, obviously, you know, Travis Kelce, he's 31. I think he's going on 32. Zack Ertz is 30. Maybe he's going on 31. But I do think he's probably going to get let go by the Eagles, and whatever team gets him is going to pay him and treat him like you were saying before the pod. Drop that little piece of knowledge you were saying. That tight ends have to be.
Yeah, I heard on a different pod that said, like, basically you have to be, in order to finish top 6, you have to be either the number 1 or the number 2 target share, meaning the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver on your team.
Right.
And depending on situation, Zack Ertz could easily be that. But we're already running out of spots for him to go.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the
Hawks though. I could buy the Seahawks, and I could see him being the number 2 in that. Or
I mean, like but yeah, Lockett. You got Metcalf.
Okay, so but you made another good point. Like the guys that can be top 8 or top 6?
Top 6.
Top 6 that break the mold are guys that score a lot of touchdowns, right? So Austin Hooper and Bobby Tonyan, who's going to be on this list. I could see with the Seahawks, I could see Ertz being a touchdown guy, because that's what their tight ends are. Those guys, like Disley, before he tore his Achilles 2 years ago or whatever, he was like a top 6 tight end at that time, and he was catching touchdowns.
What I would love to see is Zack Ertz go to like the Jags. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe the Texans.
Yeah, they don't really have anybody. Why not?
If he went to the Texans on a cheap deal.
Dude, that's a great call. Yeah. I love him going to the Jags, and they have cap room.
Let's say Tonyan walks and he ends up on the Packers. That'd be cool.
Is Tonyan a free agent right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Unless they locked him in while we're recording, but.
How did I not know that? I thought I haven't seen that anywhere about him. He's a full-blown unrestricted free agent.
I believe he's unrestricted.
Interesting. Bobby Tons.
Old
Okay.
Bob Ton.
Honestly, if I knew that, I might knock him off. There's a couple of people that aren't on this list that it was tough.
Well,
leaving him
I'll
off.
tell you what. I have Robert Tonyan. I got a lot of shares of Robert Tonyan, and if I had to choose one guy to knock off this list, just based on like the Gary Barnidge effect.
Yeah. The barnyard.
I think Tonyan would fit that mold. I mean, like we were just saying, like the only other player to to be a top 6 tight end other than Robert Tonyan in the last 5 years that wasn't a top 2 target share guy was Austin Hooper.
Mm-hmm.
And what has he done? He's not on this list. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So they're not great dynasty
He signed
plays.
a big contract, and he is what we thought he was.
We are who we thought they were. Yeah, and he's like you're right. He's the number 3 target in that offense now. Like he's not a primary target in Kevin Stefanski's offense.
And I've been hearing,
although he was kind of the number 3 target in Atlanta. But you were saying it's touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're scoring touchdowns, it's
Well, and like in the opportunities that like Jaden Graham got to play when Hooper went down and Hurst, like
right.
Jaden Graham was doing 80 yards. He had like 80 yards that one game.
Yeah.
Like,
so Zack Ertz, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if he can go to the right spot and be that guy, I still think he's got life in him. I don't think he's fallen off a cliff. I'm going to be targeting him right after this. I wanted to do the tight ends pod, and then I'm going to go right after Lady J and see if I can get Zack Ertz. What do you think about this? Mark Andrews.
would you be upset if I went after him too?
No. See, that's the right answer. That all kind of worked out for you, right? Trade etiquette.
Yeah.
Feel free to comment
Yeah.
below. Trade etiquette. If a homie lets you know about a potential trade that they are interested in, so they're like, hey, I'm going to hit up this person for this trade, and then you think that's not that great of a trade, I can do better. And you ask, yo, cool, but would you mind if I hit them up? And then the homie says, no, you can't. You do it anyways, right?
Well,
you gave him the courtesy of asking.
Well, I think that like there's always that other manager in a league.
Thank you for the coffee, by the way.
Of course, there's always another manager in the league that you rely on.
Yes.
Like there's a guy you trust.
Oh, don't do this to me. You're gonna make me hurt.
And you go, okay, I know I can get honest feedback.
Yeah.
And a guy that won't meddle in a trade.
Fair enough, but I mean,
it worked out, kind of.
It worked out. I would say it worked out.
I think I could. Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to say it's okay, and then I'm not meddling.
Well, dude, I mean, like, I was signing the papers. We were both like, the contract was signed.
It totally worked out for you. Oh, you were gonna get the 2 firsts in this trade.
I was gonna get.
Do you want to tell them what the trade was?
The trade was I traded
the original one.
The original one was James Robinson. She doesn't have any running backs. There's a lot of.
Yeah.
You have to lay out a lot to understand this.
True.
But basically, she didn't have any running backs. She needed a running back. I wanted another guy. Another guy basically put out a hit on Roquan Smith, and he says, anybody who can go get Roquan Smith from this player, I will give you the
a
110.
A bounty.
Yeah, he put a bounty out on this guy. So I said, I mean, there was like, Jess was saying that she was getting like offers, 3 offers that day, 4 offers.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
For Roquan.
That was the other reason, by the way, for context, why I was like, do you mind if I throw in here? Because everybody was throwing in their hats in the ring on this.
Bro, I think it was
fair
I had already
game.
dogged the bounty hunter, this guy. I had him in the back seat. I was giving him a cigarette. I was saying, you need to fix your life, Roquan.
Yeah.
And then you came in and tried to swoop my bounty. I wonder if there's a bounty hunter etiquette like that. Like, hey, dude, I had him in my custody. You can't just come and swoop in and be like, can I take him in? You mind if I take him in and get this bounty?
It's a tough one. I actually am super curious what people think, because I'm trying to think if it was flipped. I'll tell you what, if it was flipped and I believed you shouldn't meddle with my trade, I would have led off with, hey, I'm gonna ask you advice, but you can't meddle. You know what I mean?
I think you should,
especially when I asked after.
Here's what I would have liked. I would have liked if you would have said, where are you at? How close is it?
Uh-huh.
And if I said, bro,
it's about to happen.
It's about to happen. And you were like, okay.
Yeah.
If it falls through, I'm going to send my offer.
Yeah. But considering this, especially the circumstances that everybody else is throwing their hat in the ring. You know what I mean?
I wasn't asking everybody else their advice on the trade, though.
All right. Can we split down the middle? Maybe it was.
Yeah. And honestly,
it ended up working out.
Honestly, you didn't meddle.
That's the other funny thing. That's the punchline of the story.
Him meddling was me not knowing if he was meddling, and he wouldn't respond to a text.
The only thing I did do, I was like, do you mind if I throw something out? And you said, you do mind, which I thought was hilarious. And I said, well, fuck off. I'm doing it. All I did was throw it. I didn't say a damn word. I just said, would you do my trade? I didn't say anything about your trade, nothing. I just said, hey, would you do this? And then she started talking about you, and then I didn't even answer her back because I was busy. All right. I'm curious what you guys think about that situation. Or about meddling when somebody's asking you advice, you shouldn't meddle. But like, what if you ask, "Can I get in there?" Because you'd think that you really can do way better. You know?
I think you know. I would say most of the time, if somebody like puts a player on the block, like Lady J was also like, I'm willing to do anything to get a running back.
Yeah.
So she put it on the block, and that's fair game for everybody.
Yeah. And everybody knew you can get a first if you can get Roquan, which was, I couldn't believe. I still don't believe. That's amazing to me that she just didn't do that. You know, in retrospect, like, why don't just go get Roquan or go get that first? So yeah, Zack Ertz, if he goes to the right team, I think this is just me saying if I think it's a great time to buy low on Zack Ertz. Look, it's so hard to find a good tight end. I don't think you should be thinking about tight ends necessarily in terms of like 5 to 10 year ranges like you might be with other positions. You'd be lucky to get 2 good years out of any tight end because of how fickle they are.
Yeah.
I still think Zack Ertz, with his talent and whatever team does go grab him, is probably going to pay him like to be Zack Ertz. He might have some injuries. That might be a thing now.
You know, looking
but
at
I
Zack
would take
Ertz,
a shot on that.
When I look at Zack Ertz, though,
like
I see, and like, don't take this the wrong way, I see myself. And in terms of when I look in the mirror, I'm like, wow, I look a lot more tired than I used to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm 35 now. Man,
well,
I'm
you are
tired.
getting less sleep.
Well, I'm like, I look at Zack Ertz, I'm like, man, that guy's got more his bags are getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You mean metaphorically, or are you actually saying he looks tired?
He looks tired.
Oh, he does?
I think he looks tired. Like, comparing, I mean, obviously, he's older. But, like, you look at Kelsey, he's older than Zack Ertz.
He doesn't look that way?
He looks vibrant.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I wish I had an engineer here to pull up
but
pictures.
maybe that's what.
I think I'll add this in after. I'm actually really would love to see. Or you just say if I do Zack Ertz images, you think he's gonna look tired? He looks
tired,
like shit,
dude.
Maybe it was a picture from last year when he was just in a bad way.
I think that it's living in Philly for the last 6 years.
You know what can happen though too. If you're starting to get a little stressed, and you're not liking your environment, team's losing, and let's say you're just not getting good sleep, you will look like shit. Like, mark my words, if I drink a couple of beers tonight, have some pizza, and then get like 4 hours, 5 hours of sleep, you see me tomorrow, you'd be like, Jesus, bro, are you 48 years old? I get some sleep, I eat some veggies, I look 25.
Zack Ertz needs more veggies. Let's get Zack Ertz
some
more
veggies.
Yeah.
Let's tweet at Ertz. Yo, Ertz, get them veg, yeah? All right, let's go to Noah Fan at 11. I put him up there because he's fast. That's my main thing. He's like really fast, and I think it's when you're a fast tight end that got drafted in the first round, you have that game-breaking speed, literally. So I think he has a shot of scoring 60-yard touchdowns sometimes, and
The bad part about Fant
Mm-hmm.
is that, okay, last year he did all right. He was a little bit injured.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got Cortland Sutton coming back and bringing that that whole
Mm-hmm.
number 1, number 2 target share guy. Like, who is the?
Yeah, he's not going to be he's not going to be the number 2 because you got Judy and you got Sutton. But yeah, to your point, and that kind of already was the case though. Timmy Patrick was getting Sutton's targets for the most part. I would be curious if their per game targets were that different. I owned him. He was getting like 9 targets a game. So.
And we still don't know what the QB situation is going to be.
Yeah, I love a lot of mock drafts putting, having Denver taking a quarterback. I would love to see that. Drew Lock is whatever. Zack Ertz. I'm just looking at pictures of him. He just looks like Zack Ertz to me, bro. Where is he? Yeah. I mean, is that a tired Zack Ertz? Comparatively? Or do you just mean maybe he looks sad?
I'll find you, Zach. Maybe it's a sad thing.
Maybe he just looks like
he looks like a boxer after a fight sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do know what you mean. He did kind of like the couple of times maybe in a post game interview or something. It looked like he was just like in hell a little bit. Like they're not targeting me anymore. I'm playing through injury. This fucking sucks. Carson Wentz sucks all of a sudden.
I hate my coach all of a sudden.
Yeah, why is my coach terrible? We just won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. It's the same group, other than Nick Foles. Maybe that's where he goes. Maybe he goes to the Bears.
I was thinking that too.
Nicky Foles, run it back. That's actually, yeah. I mean, Matt Nagy's kind of the Andy Reid disciple. That could happen. I could see that, and he'd be great there.
Sign him to a 2-year and have him play with Kmet.
I love how much time we've spent on Zack Ertz. I'm so bored of Noah Fant already. I want him off. Who can we put on 11 instead?
We could throw in
Irv. You were talking about Irv.
I love Irv Smith.
Would you rather have Irv than Noah Fant? He's the 3 though too. If you want to talk about 3,
I think Noah Fant's got to be on this list.
He's got it, right?
If I had to punt
23 years
somebody
old.
out of here, it would be
Tanyan.
I mean,
It's got to be Tani.
I think Tanyan's got to be on here just because
Noah
it's
Fant,
what's happened now. But let's kick Zertz. Let's throw
Zertz?
Zertz down to 13.
No, I like Zertz. He's my big guy. I wanted in there. For Dynasty, but that's probably you're probably right. It'd probably be better for.
I think Evan Ingram could be lower.
All right, let's plow through Noah Fant.
Yeah.
Is there anything else positive that you like about Noah Fant? He's probably going to be the number 3 in his offense, so that is a concern, right?
Noah Fant is super talented.
Mm-hmm.
Cream rises to the top.
Yeah,
you gotta believe that if he can stay healthy, he'll be a top 8 tight end.
There was a coordinator switch too in Denver, right? Was there any big switches over there?
Not sure. No, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you.
All right. Well, if they install some sort of new system, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the problem is he's probably not even a buy low in Dynasty, because I bet whoever has him, like, he had a solid enough year.
And you could make the case that if it weren't for injuries, he would have been a top 5 guy. So
yeah, maybe he's awesome. Maybe we don't have to ditch him. Bob Tonyan, number 10. I'd rather have Tonyan right now than Noah Fant, as long as he re-signs with the Packers. I never really thought about the fact that might not be the case. I mean, a lot of the conversation about tight ends and Tonyan is not about, well, what if he leaves?
Speaking of, with the breaking news today that Jonnu Smith signs like a 4-year with New England.
Yeah, he could be 11, huh?
He could be on this list for sure.
That could change. You know what? Breaking news today while we're recording, Jonnu Smith, if you didn't already know. I'm sure you know by the time this goes up. He's with the Patriots. That could be absolutely a way better, go get him. I mean, if you have Jonnu Smith, you're probably not selling now. So.
Well, and the worst part is for all the people in Dynasty who have Dalton Keene and Devin Asiasi on the same team.
You went all in on that.
Looking at what the Patriots have done in the past.
Yeah.
Combined with what Cam Newton has done with his tight ends in the past, that was like slam dunk.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
what happened there, man? I mean, they just got a bunch of blockers. It turned out,
they played Ryan Izzo and and that other guy,
restricted free agent.
Okay,
Bob Tonyan.
So
he'll be back.
So he can take offers, but the Packers can match it.
Yep, I think he'll be back. Yeah. So I love Bob Tonyan above both these. I stick with my ranking now.
You want to hear something else?
Tight ends or touchdowns, I should say.
So Bob Tonyan, this is what happened last year. There was rumors that this guy named Robert Tonyan was training with this other guy named George Kittle.
Uh-huh.
Bob Tonyan was on the Packers roster, and there was like so much talk about Jay Sternberger, and then all of a sudden, like, that story dropped. Bob Tonyan shot trending.
Was that preseason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swooped him up. A lot of people swooped him up. Finished top 4 tight end, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was number 4.
Yeah. In total points, yeah. I think he was.
Anyway, so check this out. I was watching a video the other day of George Kittle working out, because that's what I do in my free time. And in the background to the left, in a purple, I think it was either purple sweatpants or purple hoodie, in the background, Robert Tonyan. I was like,
currently?
Yep.
Like
they're
this offseason.
running it back again, dude.
Let's go.
Like, something clicked, and
I love the only thing with that thing you were talking about having to be the number 2 target, and the other way to establish dominance as a tight end to get the touchdowns. It's like, or you can get really lucky and have a guy that's gonna score touchdowns, so it doesn't matter, and that's Bobby Ton.
Well, I think
if he's the starting target, he will get 6 to 8 touchdowns.
I think he has like a weird mix where it's like, yeah, he's not the number 2. Well, he may, who you got? You got Devontae Adams, and then you got Valdez-Scantling.
You make a good point. How not the number 2? I mean, he's kind of he's co-number 2.
So
right?
what I'm looking at is like, yeah, let's say he's number 3.
Yeah, he was number 4.
Let's say
he's the total.
He's number 3 in their target share.
Mm-hmm.
I bet he's definitely number 2 in red zone target share, behind Adams. So
you make a great point. Yeah. Yeah,
I would be interested in to see how far behind number 2 in target shares he was.
Yeah,
because when you're looking at deep dive statistics too, like, there are these thresholds that like will knock a player down a tier. Like when I was doing I think it was my wide receiver, my running back rankings, I was like, yeah, he finished 1.7, not 1.8, which was the cutoff.
Right.
You know, and it's like,
it's a little arbitrary.
So like, well, it would be fun to see really where Bob Tonyan was on target share. Like, was he like 39% target share, and the next guy above him was 41?
40. Yeah, exactly. And I just think he's going to score touchdowns.
Devontae was the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I also you do wonder if they're gonna, because I mean it's Matt LaFleur, right? And it's like that the offense that he brought to the table that they used to run in with the Titans. Was it the same, like, two receiver play action based type thing? Because it doesn't look like that's what they're running now with Aaron Rodgers. It looks a little bit different. I guess I'm trying to be predictive. Are they going to eventually get the Corey Davis on the opposite of Devontae Adams or whatever?
They're bringing Funchess is coming back.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
Did they draft somebody?
I'm sure
finally?
They're going to draft somebody.
Yeah.
I would love to see like Golladay come into the mix.
How about Corey? You know, what'd be funny is if they got Corey Davis.
That'd be rad.
That'd be kind of perfect.
Or Juju.
I would be so.
What about Juju?
They could get Juju. Corey's more of a deep guy, though. I feel like Juju's more middle of the field guy. I feel like they need more of that deep guy, don't you think?
Yeah.
Or
I guess
vertical.
Adams isn't really a vertical guy.
He's an everything guy, but he's definitely not the. Yeah. And Corey Davis is not necessarily a burner, but he is more of a vertical route tree guy, or he can play that role. Bro, I just got so excited that Corey Davis might go to the Packers. That could happen. That could happen.
On a deal?
All right. Mike Oseki at 9.
Gesicki's one of the guys I've been trying to get since he was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
And
goddamn Stritz.
Dude, this guy seems impossible to get in any trade because of his upside.
I know, yeah.
It's like
those catches. His highlight reel was probably the best. Probably some of the best catches in all of 2020 are old Mike Gesicki's one-handers. I don't like him. I'd be trying to ditch him, honestly, at this point. If somebody like you was that enamored with him, I'd be like, I'd put him at 9 because I think his upside is so high and he's still so young, and who knows what that offense is going to turn into if Tua is going to take a second-year leap or anything like that.
I think it would be crazy to trade Gesicki
now
after, because in terms of tight ends, when you're like drafting young tight ends, you have to be patient,
right? And
to put that much time into somebody and
that's a good point.
And then get rid of him, that'd be like the same thing. Like, I've been trying to get Irv Smith since he was a rookie, and like Drew, his stubbornness like might pay off for him in the tight end realm eventually, because I'm thinking Irv Smith had a bad season his like rookie year.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, he's trash. You don't want him. He's garbage.
Yeah.
Knowing that if I can just get him now, it would be on the uptick.
Do you think he probably just held on to it because you wanted him? Like, because I there's no way he knew who Irv Smith was.
I definitely shouldn't have been targeting Irv Smith. He should have been a compliment piece in a trade. A different trade we did.
Yeah.
Like in that Hayden Hurst trade, like
you could have easily
throw Irv in there.
Gesicki is well, so one thing about it is, like, as far as is there anything, is he a weak blocker or anything like that? That's kind of something I've heard, is that he's more of just a vertical, talented pass catching guy. That could be limiting his.
He looks like a blocker.
Yeah.
I don't have any like stats on his blocking ability, but the guy he just looks like a do it all tight end to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you make a good point. It'd be weird now to sell Mike after you've waited, and he had a solid year. Like, he kind of showed a little bit last year.
Finally coming together.
Yeah. What do you think about Tua though? I mean, I'm starting to be like, that was probably a huge swing and a miss, and part of me wonders if they're just gonna.
I think they're gonna give him a shot. I don't like.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I know it's not crazy because they did it to Rosen and it worked out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think you got to give Drew Lock and you got to give Tua one more full season.
And Darnold, no.
I mean, I think the Jets should definitely consider giving Darnold another shot and using their draft capital more wisely than trying to swing at another franchise QB.
Yeah.
But that's for another story.
Yeah. I was just thinking, part of me doesn't believe in Tua, so I wonder if that offense is ever going to become, even a top 15 offense. Or if Tua is going to be a guy that's throwing 30-plus times a game, if Gesicki's ever going to get enough targets to be meaningful in the next couple of years while they try to run this Tua thing out. So that's the only concern I have. I'll tell you, like, if this is my list and this is my opinion. Now that I'm thinking about it, if Gesicki had all of his dynasty value, I'd love to flip Gesicki for all three of those guys that I have below him. So that's kind of a weird way that I ranked him, but I'd rather have Tonyan this year. Straight up. Like, if you saw Gesicki as a higher value and you had Tonyan, which you do, I would love to do a trade there.
Like if Tonyan left, if Tonyan, let's say, give me like if Tonyan went to the Chargers, I might keep him.
Let's say he stays with the Packers.
If he stays with the Packers, I'm all in. I think him and Aaron.
And you'd rather have him than Gesicki, right? And yet,
in the given situation.
Yeah, yet I have him ranked higher, Gesicki higher.
Well, you
kind
saw
feels
like
false.
Hooper was like starting to click with Matt Ryan and then left. So, like, if Tonyan left and went to a new system, I don't know if I'd be that interested.
You know what? You guys are listening live. I'm going to move Mike Gesicki down to 12. Everybody you just heard, I move up. I'd rather have all three of I'd rather have Zack Ertz than Gesicki.
I think
that one's a little careful.
I would rather have Irv Smith than Zack Ertz. I think I would bump Zack Ertz off this list.
Up to like 13. I'm just thinking, like, I still think he has, like, elite tight end one potential. One bad year. You know what I mean? One bad year. Do you really think he fell off a cliff?
I mean, like, what? Zach Ertz last year probably would have been number 4 on this list.
Yeah. Now we're just off him. Yeah. And why? Because he's old, and that's my point. It's like Kelsey's old. And tight ends can, as long as they're not doing, like, back injuries like Gronk, they can play old. Like, Antonio Gates had a nice little gentle fade, right? Like, I mean, I think he got, like, plantar fasciitis at one point, but then he was like, okay, the next, he didn't just go, oh, I'm 32, I'm done. I don't know if that always happens to some of these great ones. I think Zack Ertz is still, I don't know. I've already given you my opinion on that. But I would move Gesicki down now. I'd rather have Tonyan and Fant, and I'd be very tempted if I had Gesicki to trade for Ertz and see if I can get some extra back and run it back. And I bet, this is my bet, I'm going to make this call. I bet Zack Ertz outscores Mike Gesicki this year in fantasy points. So, that's making that call.
That's kind of what, when we were talking about, you were saying as soon as this pod ends, I'm going to go talk to get Ertz. My thought was like, so in terms of trading, a lot of the times people are like living especially in Dynasty, especially in fantasy. People are like in the moment. This guy hit right now.
Right.
I want him. Right. I must have him. Yeah. And I think Bob Tonyan still has some of that appeal.
Oh, bro, totally.
And so, like,
you can get the
like
world
you were saying, like, if I could flip Tonyan for Ertz plus,
Exactly.
That's what I did with like a lot of my tight ends last year. I was like, wow, he had a great game, and tight end is so desolate.
True.
It's like, yeah, he had a great game. You want him?
Yeah.
You need a tight end.
Yep.
And next thing you know, I'm sidestepping for a different tight end,
but getting a little more
and getting a third rounder, or fourth rounder, or fifth rounder, because like we play IDP too, so like in the fifth round,
you can get a safety.
Bam! I just locked up. Yeah, Jeremy Chin went. I think he went in the seventh.
He went. I think it was the 8th.
So like think about that. Like if you are a rebuilding team in Dynasty, and let's say it's your defense that you need to fix, like do those side steps. Do that. Like if you really like DK Metcalf, or if somebody really likes DK and you have AJ, trade, get a little bit more.
Yes,
because they're pretty much the same player.
Dude, I love that you said that. I'm so all in on that strategy. I think that I have C-Mac. I'm probably going to trade C-Mac. I really like. I don't see me having that guy long term because you just splash your eye.
How did that happen?
I just have so many. Like I have holes all over my roster, and it's like, all right, I can take the number 1 guy and turn him into the number 7 guy, and then get a fucking beast flex over here, or like a solid 2 top end, whatever. I'm all about that strategy. I love that you said that. I don't think people do that enough. I think that's one of the great mistakes people make, especially in Dynasty. Holding beasts when they got holes all over their roster. Split that guy up into, like what you did to me, man. That was such a good trade. Brett did this for Saquon Barkley pre ACL, before the last season. He got Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Terry McLaurin. He also you gave me back some stuff, but at the time it was a bunch of extra.
Corey Davis, Mecole Hardman,
Anthony Miller, bunch of whatever. Corey Davis ended up working out, but I mean that's the type of I love that trade. Yeah, you also got a lot out of me on that. I think that's even ambitious, but even something close to that, like Chubb and McLaurin. Well, Chubb and McLaurin. We would leave Kareem out. That would have been.
We talk a lot about like. It's just starting a conversation. I love this is our tight end ranking show. Now we're talking trades. And this is.
Well, we only get to record once a week, but we talk literally at least 10 other hours all week about all this shit.
Like trade strategy is like I could talk for hours about this stuff, but like just being able. I talk to guys in our league all the time about just have a conversation with me. Yeah, you don't know what you can get. So many people are like, oh, I don't know, I got to think about it.
It's like say something back, like offer something. I always do that now. Like this happened to me. Sorry to cut you off.
You just say no.
Yeah, I said with Earlhawk happened the other day. He was like, "What do you want for C-Mac?" I was like, and I said something. I said something absurd. I was like, "I want Miles Sanders in a first minimum," and he was like, "Well, that's already too much." And I'm like, "That's already not too much, first of all. So, at least we know where we're at, you know." But I didn't go, "Oh, what do you think?" That's what I don't like when people answer back, "Oh, which unless you're trying to play that as a tactic and you know that they're a communicative person, that's fine too. But I know what you mean. Like, get the conversation. Like, say some shit. And you know what I like? Ask. That's what happened with Rob. Hey, Rob. What was it? I can't remember.
It was Aaron Donald and something for a second.
Gaskin for a second round pick.
And like we were saying, if Gaskin comes out, great play.
When Aaron Jones went to the Packers, I thought, ooh, check mark, might be okay. Well,
yeah, and like I just want to keep talking trades because I love it.
Well, I'll put in the title that this is a trade talk episode too. How about that?
Yeah, I love it. And
tight ends and trades.
Yeah, because don't be afraid to shop players either. That's the other thing. Like, I had Saquon, I've had C-Mac in the past. Just because you say, hey, dude, what do you think? Do you want C-Mac? That doesn't mean you have to trade C-Mac.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, just trying to see where it's at.
If somebody says, yeah, I definitely want C-Mac, you are not obligated to make the trade.
Right.
But like I'll often just send a text to somebody and say, hey, what do you want for DeAndre? Like, what would you I want to trade DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. I offered Earlhawk DeAndre Hopkins and a second round pick for the 106, and he said no.
Huh.
Which I thought, I was like, that's pretty good because
that's interesting. He has receivers though. I feel like that could be one of the reasons why he said, he's like, I'm taking Jamar Chase maybe at 6. So would you do DeAndre in a first for my 8?
No.
Or sorry, DeAndre in a second for my 8?
I do DeAndre in a second for your 5.
See, this is the conversations. I don't know about
but
DeAndre.
But now I know that he said no. Okay. Now I'm like, do I want to increase the offer? Probably not. So now I'm going to go ask somebody else, like Hatcher.
I might do that 8. If you do that two and DeAndre, I'd do that 8.
I don't want to.
You could get a lot of day. I'll tell you what, on game day it might be there. I've been doing more and more mock draft in my head, running through the super flex, like what the top. I think the entire first round is studs. I don't see a miss in the entire first round as long as you with super flex, because you can get 4 quarterbacks. The top 4,
maybe 5.
Yeah, I'm leaving out Trey Lance. I'm buying into what Chris Sims said, which is something I kind of already felt. I think that if you already got a project, like if you're looking at Justin Fields as a guy that is a little bit of a project as a thrower, now you're going to go one step down on athletic but lacks a bunch of shit as a quarterback. I'm a little like, I don't know about that guy.
This is all I want to say.
In the first round.
This is what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Put Justin Fields in the North Dakota State offense and see what happens.
Yeah, but he only played 1 year. I mean, there's enough red flags.
I bet Justin Fields would have been. I bet he would have just trounced all of Trey Lance's numbers. Minus like the 0 interceptions.
Right.
But like.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Justin Fields is better, right?
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying.
So when you said 5, like the guy that's off for me is Trey Lance.
Okay.
That's how I think. I don't know if I said that right, but yeah, I mean in Superflex, like I could see in the top 8, I could see 4 quarterbacks, and easily. And I know that's like, oh, obviously, but like not really. Last year we only had 2 in the top 8 for our league. So Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence. That's 4 of 8. Now you have 4, like Etienne, Najee, and then Jamar and whatever. That's 8 right there. Those are the best. All 4 of the best, prospects in fantasy football. That's 8. You still got Javonte Williams, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts,
Rondale
or Bateman, whoever you're buying into there. You're at 12. You got studs everywhere. So anyways, I'm trying to sell you on that 8. There's a lot there for you, buddy. I bet you can get Javonte Williams. It depends on where he goes, though. I do like the idea that the Steelers draft. We should get back to tight ends in a sec. I do like the idea that nobody drafts a running back in the first round and that they all go in the second. I think it would be a good year for that. Except Najee. He probably is going to go in the first.
I could see it completely being different than what we think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Where everybody's predicting that the Dolphins take a guy and that the Steelers take a guy. But I bet I could.
But they can both do it in the second, and I think they would and should.
I could see one of those teams in the 20s
yeah.
saying, you know what? I know what you're going to do on the backside.
Right.
Like, I was telling Nolan this the other day, like, I'm so sick of seeing cornerbacks going in the first round.
Yes.
Like,
dude,
go get a game-changing running back.
I don't know enough about defense.
You really got to get a cornerback, dude.
But this is the thing. Like, I don't think we think in terms of fantasy, obviously, so it's mostly offense. And then even in our deep Dynasty fantasy league that has 4 defensive backs, corners aren't valuable.
Dude, run it back.
So now even in fantasy, I can't make corners valuable in our deep league. So I just think from a football perspective, though, they're a pretty important position. So,
but you run it back.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see how many corners were taken in the first round before Richard Sherman and those boys really like.
Yeah.
And
but
all those guys that they're like, oh man, now the corner needs to be 6'2".
Right.
I want to go back before then and be like, how many corners were taken in the first?
Like, are they a little bit more like running back, where you should be thinking about them later?
Well,
that narrative just never caught on.
I think trends just change, and I think that when, you're starting to see these lockdown corners that are like really changing. Oh man, we won the Super Bowl with our defense, Legion of Boom, all that kind of stuff. Then it's like everyone was like, oh, I have to go.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go out and find my Cam Chancellor and my Richard Shermans and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's definitely
Jalen Ramsey's a game changer. There are those guys out there, but I don't think there is as many. That get taken in the first.
Yeah, I think if you're just a team that you have a team that's like, all right, we have one solid cornerback, and he's not even great, and then we have nobody else. This side is always going to get destroyed. It's so below average. It's just a fucking hole, and that seems to happen to teams.
Well, then
seems like it always happens to the Cowboys.
Last year, who was the dude that the Falcons took in the first round? Like
AJ Terrell.
Yeah. Would you have rather had J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so this is I love this point, and I don't know enough about football to make us to fully agree, but I love the theory that maybe cornerback is one of those positions that you should be picking playmakers on offense over that could affect the game, and then you can just pile them up in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th and see who pops.
Because the rest of the season, they're like, oh man, Todd Gurley, are we gonna play?
Right.
B.J. Hill, who's our guy? It's like you could have just had, in terms of we look at it in dynasty terms, you could have had a top 5 dynasty running back
for my team.
Yeah, but instead you're like, I'm gonna run Gurley into the ground. I don't know. It's irritating. I would so much rather talk about what we're talking about right now than Evan Ingram, tight end number 8.
Tight end number 8, Evan Ingram. If you have him, you just gotta hope he stays healthy.
I don't get it. I don't.
You have him. That's why it's frustrating, right?
Yeah, I don't get it in the day and age, and the lack of playmakers that are on the Giants' offense. Why they're not designing a playbook.
That offense was confounding last year, though. It wasn't just the Evan Ingram element. It was, why is Daniel Jones this bad? Why? How did this team go from promising to absolute garbage overnight?
Daniel Jones wasn't that bad in his rookie season. I think Joe Judge
came in
and he didn't have a plan. Maybe his plan was, I'm going to run Saquon.
Well, it's Jason Garrett, right? He's the coordinator, and it's like, I mean, look, it just failed. Whatever they tried to implement, I didn't watch. I didn't analyze the tape. I watched the games from just a blind look. They looked like the Jets. They just looked dysfunctional and shitty, and without much of a plan. And I don't even know how. I don't know how it's even possible Evan Ingram didn't get more targets, other than the fact that they were just going 3 and out so much that there just wasn't even that many plays. That's what it almost looked like. It's like there was no plays. They ran I don't know, 50 plays a game. So it's like, all right, 20 rushes, and then a bunch of fucking incompletes or something. I don't know.
The other frustrating thing is that Caden Smith is also really good.
Right.
So it's like, why not? Why are you guys? Why are you doing this?
So I just wonder if maybe it was COVID off season, Jason Garrett, new system, all that stuff could have been.
Jason Garrett's like the coach in the Waterboy that just has that old playbook that he won't let go of.
I don't know, man. I'm with you though. I put him there because I still think he's one of the more talented tight ends. Right?
Saquon tears his knee, and they're like, I don't know. We had a whole playbook planned out, and now we don't know what we're gonna do.
Every page just says Saquon. It's 20 pages.
Hand it to this guy. Pass it to this guy.
Yeah. And then play action off this guy. Yeah. And they can't even They can't even conceive of play action without Saquon. It's like, no, just play action to another guy.
Linebackers are looking in the backfield. And Wayne Gallman's just shaking, scared. I can't do this.
Evan Ingram. Sorry if you have him, but he might. Maybe buy low. But
Evan Ingram's a huge buy low, especially.
He's super talented.
I'm the guy who owns him. Send me an offer.
Well, and Jason Garrett coached obviously for the longest time, and he had Witten. We know his system has produced a tight end 1 before, and Ingram also was hurt a little bit last year, but he wasn't that hurt. He played 13 games, something like that.
At least, yeah. Let me check real quick.
So I mean, big buy low, or get out now. Can't really tell, but he's super talented, man. I will say, dude, if you're excited about Mike Oseki,
he finished. Never mind.
If you're excited about Mike Oseki, why aren't you excited about Evan Ingram?
16 games.
He played 16.
Yeah.
I know he's playing. Yeah. Okay.
Had 109 targets.
He had 109 targets.
Didn't seem like
what
that.
the hell happened?
He had 1 touchdown.
I like him on his talent. Is that what it is? The offense was just trash.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. 109 targets, but how many were completions because it was just errant throws? I think that.
I mean, dude, he had a 60% catch rate. He had 63 receptions.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, right?
Yards
on 109 targets
per target was 6 yards per target.
I'd like to think that another year in the system, blah blah blah, is going to create. I don't know why that team was so bad, but it was surprisingly bad. So they
picked up his 5th year, right?
and I was saying this a second ago, but like I'll make the point again. If you're excited about Mike Gesicki, I don't know why you wouldn't be excited about Ingram. Mike Gesicki has been worse, but he's talented. There's nothing about that system that proves to you in Miami that a huge change in his role is coming.
Dolphins are good though. That would be my thing is like, okay, put Evan Ingram in the Dolphins offense.
Fair enough, but can I come counterpoint on that? They are good, and he was that good, which is okay.
Yeah.
You got to imagine Evan Ingram in a better offense that was, I think, literally bottom 3, right? So they only have room to go up. So now you got Evan Ingram in a potential they're getting better situation, whereas Gesicki, you can make the case that that's about as good as it could get. They were good last year. How much better are they going to get?
I'll give you Evan Ingram and a second-round draft pick for Mark Andrews.
I might do that.
Interested?
I absolutely might do that. Yeah. Because I'm trying to kind of – we'll get to Andrews in a sec. Yeah, I mean, we started talking shit. I think that the offense was such a dumpster fire. He's still one of the most talented young tight ends in football. Take a shot on him.
Yeah.
Dallas Goddard, I love him. If you can get Goddard, I think that they're going to –
Something about that punch he took, it kind of made me not like him anymore. I don't know.
What punch?
You see, he was in North – he went to North Dakota, right? Or he went to I think he went to North Dakota.
Okay.
But he was in the home state. He was in the state in which he went to college partying in the off season. And dude got cold cocked, punched in the face by just another dude at the bar.
Oh.
You don't remember that?
That was last summer. No, I missed that entirely.
Oh, dude. There's a video online. You can watch it.
This is great.
But something about that happening made me think, like, man, Robert Tonyan's in the weight room right now with George Kittle.
Right. Goddard's out there picking fights.
He wasn't picking a fight. He was sitting there having a good time, and some dude just hit him. But like Goddard, I want to see you in the weight room, man. Like, you got all the talent in the world, bro. That's why I was happy to trade him. I know I could regret it, but
that punch is what made you feel, because you were so high on him.
Yeah, I was just like.
But you remained high verbally while you were secretly doubting him.
Yeah.
Because of the punch. Because of the so he got sucker punched. I never saw the video. What happened? What do you remember?
I'm pretty
he
sure
didn't say anything, and some guy just hit him.
Yeah. As far as I know, I was watching the video. He's just like sitting there, and this dude just flies out of left field and hits him. You got to find the video.
Let's see. Man who punched. All right, we got Florida man who punched. Claims he was protecting his friend. All right.
From Dallas Goddard drinking his beer.
Goddard and his friends had been harassing them at a previous bar over music they chose. Okay. All right. They picked out my smaller colleague and got in his face. Interesting. So they were just talking shit. It looked like a talk shit bar brawl. I wonder why he attacked Dallas Goddard of all the group, because he was Goddard. I don't know.
You gotta, if you want to kill a snake, bud.
Get the head.
Yep.
That's fair. I think he's about to be the number 1 tight end in Philly, and that's something.
What if they draft Kyle Pitts?
That, and also different system. It looked like Doug Peterson was obsessed with 2 tight ends, and who knows if that's going to be the case anymore. He, again, another talent guy, did have a pretty solid year last year. I think he was top 8. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I like to see guys. I don't know.
It's funny because we all kind of, you especially, I didn't even care about Goddard that much, but you were talking about how talented he was coming out of college, so I started paying attention more like a couple years ago. And then it was like this idea, like, is he going to take over Ertz? And then, but the system was what made it exciting. And then Peterson left. So now you're kind of like.
The thing about Goddard that I really liked is the dude was still putting up top 12 numbers, and he was the cost of a tight end too.
Yeah.
So it was like huge value there. It's like, shit, I could trade Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
For Dallas Goddard and get a ton back in return, but now it's too late.
Right now, they have Rieger and they have pretty much nobody else, and I imagine that Ertz is going to be gone. I think he belongs right there. Like, you could move him down, but what?
No, I like Goddard. I'm just not as high on him as I was.
Yeah. I mean, you could say maybe, like, who would you rather have this year, Goddard or Tonyan? That'd be a pretty interesting conversation. Tonyan, I put at 10 because it's like 1 year, and is he going to barnage us? And this is Dynasty, and I think he's like 28 or 29, right?
I like the idea of, again, Tanyan, like, I love those gritty stories. Like, he worked his ass off. He got cut. I think, what was it, the Raiders? Like, somebody cut Tanyan. And then he got picked up on the practice squad. I worked his ass off.
And you keep finding him in the back of Kittle videos.
Yeah, love it.
All right, Hawkinson at 6. Had a great year last year.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a little worried about is, that offense just being terrible. And Goff has never really supported a tight end one. I know Higbee had a nice run there at the end of 2019, but it didn't turn into anything.
The new coach for Detroit is a former tight end.
That's right.
And a former tight ends coach.
Ooh, I like it.
I
forgot about that.
And Goff is kind of like a mid-range, doesn't throw the ball deep kind of thing. I think Hawkinson will be in the top
match
4.
made in heaven. And that's a good point. I like that. Like the idea could be that they are a complete shit show, but at least one guy's getting targets.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
Who's most likely on this list? Who's most likely below the top 3 to be the number 1 or number 2 target share in their offense?
Yeah. How about a former first rounder who had a great year last year?
Yeah.
I think he was top 6 last year, maybe even higher. I think he was 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. I love it. By this time next year, he could be in the top 4 here, and that wouldn't be that crazy at all. Number 5, Mark Andrews. I love that. I want to say a little bit about Andrews. So I was thinking about this. I had him last year, and if you had him thinking, you were hoping just like Lamar Miller, like that they would get better or whatever. This whole year for that offense was kind of a disappointment because of how great they were. Andrews was also kind of a disappointment. He was a little bit more inconsistent than you wanted, and he was a tad worse than he was the year before, or at least he didn't bump up. But I had him, and I can tell you one thing. That guy dropped at least 3 touchdowns this year. Like, fucking dropped. And I don't know, like, and he's not a bad hands guy. I remember one of them was in the rain. Like, if you give him those 3 touchdowns that are very easy to convert under a normal situation, he gets targeted so much in the red zone, man, that I think I want to see his touchdown totals. I can't remember. It was probably like 6. I think he's due for like 8 to 12 in a given year, based on the way they target him in the red zone. And he still finished 6 overall last year by having his down year was 5th in PPR.
What's his age?
And he's 25.
So that's what I'm talking about.
And he just turned 25. Let me see his touchdown total. 7. He had 7.
Lamar Jackson's not just going to overnight start chucking it deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this to reiterate my point, he had 10 touchdowns in 2019. I saw him drop 3. He had 7 last year. Give him 3 more touchdowns. I remember at least one of the bad games was like no touchdown that game. So you give him that touchdown there, maybe 1 more here. You're looking at a whole year where it's like, oh, he only had like 2 bad games, as opposed to I think he had 4 or 5. I think I might be dumb to be selling Mark Andrews because he just had a worse year than he had in 2020 or 2019. But I think Andrews is I think this is his ceiling though. That's the other thing. Like I think he's a great dynasty play because he's on a great team and the situation is solid and he's young. I don't know how much better Mark Andrews is going to be getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of fantasy points and all that. Kyle Pitts, number 4. Threw him in there.
This is who we've been waiting to talk about, really.
Yeah, baby.
Kyle Pitts will. I mean, I assume that any situation in which he gets drafted in the top 10, that team will prioritize getting him the ball.
Yes.
So it's conceivable to think that he will be right away number 2, number 1.
One sec. I'm going to pee.
Cool.
Because I want to get into this Pitts real hard.
I'm going to go take a Pitts.
Took a great Pitts. Great long Pitts. Yeah, I was thinking about that last night too when you said that you have to be the number 2 in your team to be consistent unless you score touchdowns. You know, he's being projected in the top 15. The odds that you pick a tight end in the top 15 and don't make him probably the focal point of your offense. Or don't envision him as something like the next guy on this list, or one of the next guys is Darren Waller, which everybody's comparing him to.
Yeah.
It's like...
I want to see who... I want to look at the draft order real quick.
All the mock drafts, by the way. Oh, not all of them. Almost all the mock drafts that I've seen put him in a place I don't agree with, and I don't understand why they would pick him there.
That's kind of what I want to look at here.
They put him at the Bengals. Why would you... No, I mean, fine. But dude, you need a lineman, and that Sewell guy's like sitting there right there for you. I don't get that at all. And if they did, all right, cool for fantasy. Maybe they plan on getting somebody in free agency. This is what I think, like, I am noticing with mock drafts. I think most people are just trying to put a lot of hot names in the top so that as you're scrolling, you're stimulated. Like, to your point, a lot of the people checking on mock drafts, it's like if you put fucking a cornerback picked at 5 and you're just scrolling through, I think you might get bored. That's just my theory as to why they keep putting Pitts so high in situations that I don't think fit. Like, you said the Eagles. Why? Why would you, like, you have Goddard, he's a solid tight end. Like, it doesn't look like you're running, unless you're still doing this 2 tight end system, but pay Ertz.
Goddard's a free agent next season, so maybe they're planning.
Trying to replace it?
Yeah.
Then sign Ertz to, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe that seems like a fit. I just feel like if you're drafting Kyle Pitts in the top 15, it would seem like it would behoove you to not need some other fucking huge position. Like, you know,
where do you want Kyle Pitts to go?
Can you go through the order real quick? Just real quick.
Okay, Jacksonville's not taking him. New York's not taking him. The Dolphins probably not taking him.
No.
Atlanta, they got Hurst.
No, but already that's more. I think that's a little more likely than some of the shit I've seen. You know,
Cincinnati. No. I've also seen Cincinnati drafting Jamar Chase, which I think would be cool to pair him with Burrow again.
Higgins, Chase, and Boyd. So you got 2 outs, and then Boyd's the slot. That could be pretty special. But then in that case, it's like maybe go get Pitts. That to me is kind of similar in terms of drafting a playmaker as opposed to a lineman.
I know it's not the same coaching organization, but they did just select Drew Sample with a second-round pick like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I just think that that's a team that has holes all over the place. Defense, offensive, I just can't fathom. I'm not a GM, but I just could not imagine not picking the best offensive lineman in the draft if you're Cincinnati.
Philadelphia, hate it.
I don't see that. It doesn't make sense to me that much. They have so many more holes, all these problems.
Detroit, not going to do it.
Nope.
Carolina?
No, because they need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback. So then you go Denver. They got Fant. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is where I want to see him go.
Yes, I could see that.
I would love Kyle Pitts to get paired up with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Zeke,
and Dallas has a lot of
back.
Dallas has a lot of holes on defense, right? So I could see there where they're like smarter that they just get a defensive player.
Well, they go Kyle Pitts, spend defense on the rest of the draft.
I was gonna say exactly, and Jerry Jones is just that, like, okay, if you're a franchise like the fucking Bengals, you can't afford to be cavalier about this shit. Like, you got to be smart. You're a bad team. You're a bad franchise. Go make the smart decision. Cowboys, dog, they do this shit all the time, and they have fun. They're fun to watch. You're an explosive offense, and you have a shitty defense, you sell tickets. Yeah. Like, build your team that way. That's super fun. Go get defense later. Go spend some free agent money on you're going to get rid of the Amari contract. You're going to have some free space there. You got CD on a rookie, Pitts on a rookie, Gallup's still going to be cheap.
Well, you're not going to get another opportunity to sign a Pitts.
Yeah.
Especially with Dak's contract, unless you were saying, like,
or if they go get Ertz or something.
we know that Dak's contract is going to ruin us in like 3 years.
Yeah.
What can you do to be a Super Bowl contender right now when it's going and getting somebody like Pitts?
Yeah, I think one thing that they're probably not going to be able to pull off, but they should as soon as possible. But is get rid of Zeke. However, I did hear that Zeke's money's guaranteed by a certain date, and it's already done, so they're kind of fucked on that for 2021. But I think that contract is like the worst thing that they have. Just in terms of building a team, I don't think you need Zeke to win right now. You need a lot more guys. But
they were a Super Bowl favorite going into last year.
Their defense is their defense is trash. You can't be a bottom 10 D and win Super Bowls.
Well, and I don't think that there's a lot in the draft in terms of later round picks that will help their defense climb into the top 10. Okay. There might be some veterans out there.
Do you think there's something right there though at 9 or wherever they are?
Well, yeah, like Micah Parsons. I think Parsons goes before.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah. I mean, but I could see Pitts there just because of the way Jerry Jones is just a psychopath and
I think
builds.
It'd be awesome.
I think in some ways this is kind of my point is like there are more business decisions involved in this shit that has a little bit more to do. You want to win, but You're the Bengals. You need to be smart. You're not a good franchise. You got to just start stringing together some good teams. Like, it doesn't even, if you're 8-8, bro, but you have one of the top 10 offenses in football, that's good for the Bengals. Like, you don't need this. You need so much more to be good in the long term. Pitts is something that Jerry Jones can pull off, have literally the best offense in football, and be 9-7 and shitty in the playoffs. But figure out defense through free agency or trades or something. I like that. I like that point.
So that'd be neat. If they don't go there, you got New York Giants.
I hate that one.
Hate it.
I've seen people mocking them to them. I just don't get it.
San Francisco.
I've seen that.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
I don't like it, and I don't know. Again, I don't know why. Smart franchise. I don't think they would. Why would you? More holes, more. You can get so many more assets. So let's say no.
Chargers.
That one I could see now.
Yeah, Hunter Henry's leaving.
That one, let's just land right here. That's a good move for that franchise.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that last night while I was showering. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Kyle Pitts. Let Mike Williams stop trying to make Mike Williams a thing. Let him be what he is.
Let him be Corey Davis of this last year.
Exactly. Let him fucking run deep and catch jump balls and 6 touchdowns a year because he's a red zone guy. I love that pick.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away at how little. I guess the Hunter Henry thing changes it, and maybe not a lot of mocks have come out since then. But I'm blown away by how little I've seen that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Chargers are a tight end landing spot for years.
And again, go back to like pieces, right? Like, I think they probably need an O lineman, but that wasn't an overt problem last year, and I don't think much has changed. And what do they have? They have playmakers on every level on defense. Mm-hmm. They have Kenneth Murray at linebacker. They have Bosa on the line. They have Derwin James, and I don't think their corners are trash, although they just got rid of Casey Hayward. But I bet they have a plan for that. They have 3 massive playmakers on defense, and then they have some other talent. Perfect fit. That's a team that can absolutely afford to go a little luxury pick here, and be competitive. I love it. I think that's the smartest, and I hope I see it.
The rest of them, I think it would be cool to see him go to Arizona, but I doubt he makes it that far.
Yeah, Arizona
at 16.
That would probably be a solid fit, right? That's solid.
Then there's no way he makes it past that, right? Everyone's been saying he's a top 10 guy. So if he makes it to 13 to the Chargers, then
But I do think NFL GMs would be smarter to see him as, we're all off-season fucking armchair guys. Maybe he should be a top 20 guy, not a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
But I love the Chargers. I think that that's a great fit. I think that any team that takes him above that is probably
lying to themselves.
They're just it's like, man, are you trying to compete or are you trying to have fun?
Yeah.
Which I can get either way. Are you trying to sell tickets because of a better offense? That Bengals one I hate. I've seen that so many times, and I'm like, what, really? So you just want to continue to be a trash franchise? You want fucking Burrow, who just tore his ACL, got hit every single game.
And you just paid Mixon, and you want him to still run behind trash offensive linemen.
Right. And you got literally, as far as I can tell, I don't know much about offensive line from scouting, but you got an elite offensive line prospect here that you can just go grab.
I could see Micah Parsons, linebacker.
At 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe have somebody that can make an impact.
Or Sewell, yeah. I think that would probably be the smartest.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, they need him. It's just too perfect. Like, why would you be cute? You need an offensive lineman really bad to protect your franchise guy. And you have weapons, man. Higgins, Boyd. Like, that's already – and then, like you said, Drew – they had – even Uzoma or whatever was pretty solid in the beginning of the year, and you got Drew Sample.
Still don't know how to pronounce that guy's name.
Or
Osamu.
Or Zack Ertz. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You can get more – you can put more together by not taking – so, yeah, and I love Pitts. This is a total flyer. This might look like a completely dumb ranking for Dynasty in 2 years, but I'm buying in. I'm buying into the narrative on Pitts.
Out of all the teams that could trade up past that, I mean, it would be
Pittsburgh?
Cool. It'd be cool to see. I don't like Pittsburgh taking him. I think it'd be cool if Tampa did some crazy shit and traded up and went and got Pitts.
They do have an elite defense. They are in this window where everyth's kind of a luxury.
They do
have
a first-round pick. They could easily do
like
a first.
But they're 32, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. That could be fun.
New Orleans would be kind of cool.
Where they at?
28.
Okay.
But Troutman's there to be ready to take over. Anyways, love Kyle Pitts.
I love the Chargers. I think that's a great call, and I hope he falls to that because I think all the teams, any team taking him higher than that, I think that's a dumb move for the franchise at this point, looking at who those guys are. And Dallas could do it because they're crazy, and Jerry Jones loves having a team with a top 3 offense and a garbage defense, so it's fun football.
Yeah.
You sell tickets, and, you got Romo and Terrell Owens and Marion Barber and fucking nobody on the other side. DeMarcus Lawrence, and that's it. I put Kelce at 3. This might be the hot take of the list.
I'm not going to argue with you because I saw a lot of people saying like Kelce and Kittle by far tier 1, nobody else in their category. I think that's bullshit. I think Darren Waller's right there with him.
Yeah. I put him at H. I mean, let's not be like cute about it. He's 31. I think he's entering his 32 season.
Bro, if I have Kelce and somebody's like, holy shit, I want Kelce so bad, and I could go sidestep, get Darren Waller plus a 2nd round pick, or maybe even a first. How crazy they're thinking about Kelce. 100 times out of 100.
All day.
Go for it.
That's what I'm talking about, man. And that's why I rank it this way. Like, I think about that. I'd rather have Waller. Like, if somebody thinks that Kelce is that much better than Waller, that you can fucking
by all means
sidestep and get something. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Same thing with pretty much same thing. Like if I had Kelce,
and you can get Hawkinson.
I would go all the way down on this list. I would go all the way down to Goddard,
dude, or Tanyan,
and see what I can get.
I would do Tanyan personally. I think Bobby Tons is due for 7 to 10 touchdowns a year
if he signs with Packers again.
Assuming he stays with the Packers, yeah, that's a good caveat. I would if I had Kelce all day right now, I'd be trying to trade for Tanyan and something, and trying to fill up whatever else I can get there that fits the
well, dude,
the team.
I'll tell you what, I have 3 first-round draft picks this season. And I would probably do Bob Tanyan and one of those draft picks for Kelce.
You would think about that?
Yeah. And if somebody's in a good situation, especially because the guy in our league who has Kelce doesn't have any draft picks.
No draft picks and a lot of holes.
Yeah.
Like his team is barren in some spots. Yeah, I mean, I think he's entering his age 32 season, I believe. Double check me on that. If not, it's 31. And I think he's going to be great still. And I'm not trying to curse him, but the man's due for an old guy injury. He's due for a hammy?
When did Gates
start to fall off? Such a great question.
Was it 35?
I did want to look that up, but you know what? We're grown ass men with busy lives. That was a thought that I was like, oh, check that before you get in there.
Because Kelce's generational, so you can. Let's comp him to.
I agree.
Tony Gonzalez. Let's comp him to Antonio Gates. Let's comp him to Jason Witten.
Absolutely, totally agree. All right, so Gates obviously had a long, illustrious career. It looks like he started to be top 12 as opposed to top 5 around consistently starting in 2015, which is like 11 years into his career. However, he did set. We all remember I remember the Liz Frank year. He was a little slow, and
I hate that chick. I hate that chick. Liz Frank.
Sounds like a perfume. 2012, he had a top 12 season, which is a trash year for him. He was 8th. The 2013, 2014, he was 3rd. But then he started to really fall off.
So here's where you go. You want to trade Kelce before he goes from 3 to 8.
He went in 2011 from top 5 to the next year to 12 to then 8 to then 3rd one more time, but then gone. So after, to your point, after a run of dominance up to 2011.
Can you give me what's his age in 2011?
So he's 40 right now, minus 9. So yeah, 30, 31. Yeah. So that's my fucking point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
real nice.
That worked out. That worked out for my what I was trying to say about that. But I was wrong about something. I thought he faded more gracefully. I thought, well, he kind of did though.
But
because he was 5 and then he was 12, 8, 3. 12, 8, 3.
This is like trading 101. You have to get ahead of this stuff because the value is going to dump.
Right, and then that's that classic thing of do you think you can are you a win now team? If you're a bad team with old guys, do you think you've just become a good team with old guys? In which case you might keep those guys and run it. But that's what you got to be thinking. Am I running these wheels till they fall off? Because I think I can compete this year.
Julio's going to be good this year. I promise.
Right. But are you a team,
he's not
Lady
Julio from 3 years ago?
Yes. And Lady J in our league, she has a few holes, and I'm not so sure she's ready to win this year. I think I would see her team as more of a top 5 team. If I were her, I would go get a second and like, you know, I think I flipped Julio for like Odell and a first. I can't remember what it was, but I got a first out of it. If you could do that, I would do that if I were her. Like a wide receiver 2 and a first. I would do that.
There are those guys that are on the precipice of like they're teetering.
Yes.
And like who was it? I can't remember.
Who do you want to? Do you want to watch them go? You know?
Do you want to hold on to Derrick Henry for 2 more years, or do you want to get top value for this guy right now?
Absolute top value. I know a lot of. I know at least 3 guys in our league that would pay fucking full price. They wouldn't take his age into account. They would, but it's too tempting. 2,000 yards. It's like, all right, give me. Let's say it was like a great player and a 1. You know, maybe it's like.
Well, and she has holes at quarterback. Like she could literally change. She could go get Kirk Cousins is she could go get Kirk Cousins and like 2 second-round picks for Derrick Henry.
Exactly. Which probably doesn't sound exciting to her, but be better for her team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that Kelsey is due to be Kelsey is also due just on his usage this last year and the last 2 years for some old guy stuff, man. Like
some aggression.
A hammy here, a twisted ankle there.
And this is the best part. Kelsey's probably going to come out and be the number 1 tight end again, and everyone's going to be like, "You were wrong." And then next year,
1 more year.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Do you want to be too early or do you want to be too late? I would rather be too early.
That's what people are afraid of. They're afraid to watch that guy have that great year, but it's only that 1 more year.
I would much rather be the guy that's like, haha, that was such a good trade for me. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
Thanks for making that awesome trade, and then for me to be laughing the next year.
Right. Because it's Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just made a trade. I just drafted Kyle Pitts. I trade Kelsey, get this, that, this.
Yep.
Draft Kyle Pitts, and then in 2 years I'm like.
Yeah,
I'm still on top.
You have the next generational guy. You know, you swapped. You went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, and you had 1 bad year in between, right? Mm-hmm. Next up is Darren Waller, who I have over Kelsey in Dynasty. That's me straight up. I would totally do that trade straight across. That's not bullshit. I would rather have Waller right now on my team than Kelsey. I think he's entering his age 29 season. Waller is. But
yeah,
very few reps on that body, on that fucking smoking hot bod, 6'6",
smooth.
Ooh,
tatted up.
We're talking milky dog. I mean, he's the prototype now. Like people are so stoked on Pitts because he's Waller, and that shit's not going. There's
nothing changing. Nothing's changed.
You took the words right out. Not a damn thing, dude.
Gruden and Carr and those guys are gonna keep feeding Waller and.
I hope
the way that Gruden talks about Waller is exactly how we just talked about Waller.
Yeah,
Gruden's like, look at that body, look at those glutes.
He's enamored with him. Yeah, dude, 100%. I really hope that the Raiders can get good with Carr. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I don't know if Carr, but I would love to see Gruden be able to build like a great defense and win that way because that looks like how he wants to win.
Dude, Gruden won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. They can win a Super Bowl with Derek Carr.
You said it. I love it, man. We're on the same page. I would love to see that that's where this team is going. Point being is that Gruden hopefully is not going anywhere anytime soon.
He needs to stop selecting Cleveland Farrells in the first round and cornerbacks in the first round.
And Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, dude.
A waste. And I'm not saying like I'm always wrong. I haven't been spending a ton of time. We just started playing Dynasty like 2-3 years ago, full time.
Do you think Tyreek Hill would be as good with Derek Carr?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why are you trying to find Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, it's frustrating. A franchise that literally like Day Bayed themselves. They can't just like. Hopefully Ruggs turns into somebody that's usable.
That's Darius Hayward Bay if you didn't pick up.
Big DHB, bro. And then who was the other guy? Who was that other?
It was that big boy.
Yeah, another speedster though. Wasn't he a fast guy?
Are you talking about the Dorial
Green Beckham? Oh no, I was thinking of a Raider, but that guy's hilarious. Dorial Green, DGB. Hopefully Ruggs is like solid and that team can get better at running the football, get some better O linemen, whatever. But I mean, in a vacuum, I want Darren Waller behind there, and we don't need there's not a real sales job here. He's unbelievable. I don't think you could argue he should be lower than third. So maybe my hot take is Kelsey, but we don't have to argue for Waller to be up here.
Kelsey's like Kelsey would if it was we were talking redraft right now, Kelsey would be 1 or 2.
Great point. This is a dynasty rank. I that was something I thought of last night. Like, just to be clear, Kelsey all day in a redraft.
But I think that the thing that you and I do differently in our league, and I'm sure anybody listening to this is probably the same, is that you gotta like at least be thinking about you don't have to go all in. I'm only future all the time, but you gotta be, dude. And I personally have a problem when it comes to spending way too much time on thinking about this kind of stuff. But like I'm like every day I'm like, oh man,
who can I flip?
Odell's 29.
Right.
What do I got to do?
Is Odell 29?
I think he's coming into his 29 season, bro.
You gotta get rid of him. Poor
and
Odell.
off an ACL, and I got him in a
and
trade.
He's not even good in that system. Like,
they
were better without him.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Like, okay. Like I just got Juju for a second from you. Like I'm like, I wonder if I could get Ethan's 2-2 for OBJ. You know, like, okay, now I got that. I still have Juju. Now I have that second. I can play with that.
Right.
And it might OBJ could come back and have a great season, but for how much longer? It's like get what I can right now and hope hope that it works out for the guy that gets him.
Yeah.
So that you don't look like he swindled anybody, but
it depends so much on your roster construction. It's like you're a great team. On paper, your starting lineup is easily first or second in the league, next to only Earl Hawk. I mean, you have no holes. And so you can afford to get rid of – I mean, you can afford to take that gamble on – OBJ is like maybe your fifth receiver at this point, like if you just want to rank them.
Yeah, easy.
So, it depends on where you're at. I would absolutely be selling him on some other guy that might have higher upside and young, because why not?
Dante is a team that could –
yeah, Dante loves those guys. And what's cool is it works out for him a lot of times. Like, he's not a fool. He knows exactly how to play the game.
Bro, I would
get an old guy.
Speaking of old guys in our former episode, I think right now I would trade OBJ for Julio straight up.
I don't think he would do that.
You don't?
No, I think he would. I think they're both oldish. Julio's older, but Julio's way more likely to have a really great year. Odell's starting to feel like his career's over, and I hope that that's not true. But goddamn, Cam started to look like he was gone after 2017. But you're like, he'll come back. Nope. I don't know why I'm comparing them. I guess because they hung out a lot all off season.
Darius Leonard tweeted today. He's like, y'all are sleeping on Cam. I'm like, they've been saying that for 2-3 years now,
yeah,
dude.
I hope he picks it up, man.
Thanks for supporting your friend and shit, but like,
yeah, I would love to see me be wrong. Same with OBJ. Here's would be something fun, but it'd probably be a terrible fit. Nah, I was about to say maybe if it goes to the Packers, OBJ to the Packers. Do you think they could make that work?
I don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what it is? It's you have to be like I think OBJ's done a really good job not being a problem
lately.
Yeah. And I think I was going to say like teams are afraid to bring him in because of what he did, like, like punching the kicking net and like demanding the ball.
Yeah.
Like if he can go to a team and just be like, I'm okay with being a second fiddle.
I just want to win.
Like didn't you say something like send him back to the Giants? I think that would be really cool if he went back to the Giants.
That would make a lot of sense to me. Why not? That would make
go
so
back
much
to the
sense,
Giants
bro.
And just.
I don't think I said that, by the way. I'm not going to take credit.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know where I read that,
but dude, the band's back together. Saquon's there. So much of your it's so funny. The team is so similar, like different coach and shit. But I mean, you still have Darius, or you still have Sterling Shepard. Evan Ingram was there. Were they all together for a second? Evan Ingram and Odell and Saquon, maybe.
Yeah, I think.
It's Saquon's rookie year.
Yeah,
maybe. But anyways, trading old guys. So that's our idea behind Kelsey. Number one, George Kittle. He's 28.
He checks all the boxes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's obvious. He's the best. He's awesome, and he's going to be great. He had a bad year last year. He got hurt. Hopefully that doesn't continue. Who's your favorite guy not on this list? If you could pick one guy, who's a guy that you think could be top 6 this year? That's not even on this list.
Jonnu.
Yeah.
Jonnu going to the Patriots.
Mhm.
Again, trying to predict the Patriots' fantasy assets is hard, but like, again, going back to what I thought Oseki or Keene was going to be, it's like, wow, the Patriots feature tight ends. Wow, Cam Newton, looking
he's at
at his
Olsen.
career is like, wow, he's a tight end guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like and the commitment they've just shown Jonnu, like
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being like dude, they were saying like his number one target last year was like an undrafted free agent. His second target share was like a 4th round pick.
Yeah. I love that they went and got Jonnu. I wonder what they're going to do in the draft. I'm really curious. The Cam re-signing was a little weird to me. They really don't believe in Jarrett.
No.
Yeah, but just still, period. It's like they do not believe in Jarrett Stidham.
No.
That's all that showed me, was that they might still draft a quarterback, but the backup is Cam.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think this shows that they're going, nah, we'll get. Yeah, they might draft a QB, but it's not going to be in the first round.
Mm-hmm. That's with that Cam signing. I was like, really? They're passing up, huh?
What I think they're going to do is draft a quarterback project that's similar to Cam, like in a Jamie Newman or a Kellen Mond.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
Or I don't think that they're going to go like the Trask. I've seen Trask be drafted to the Patriots a few times. I don't think they're doing the pocket passer thing anymore.
Yeah, they got rid of Brady, and it seems like now they're re-upping with Cam. It seems like, and it's still Josh McDaniel, right? He still knows how to create these, like, he's creative, so he knows how to create, run first, quarterback run offenses, zone read or pulling guard, all that shit that they were doing last year. I love the idea, just with Chris Sims talking about Mond at 4, wherever he put him in his top 6, that the Patriots just go get him at where they're at 15.
Yeah.
Do they have a second rounder in the same spot, as far as you know?
Let me check real quick.
But yeah, I could see Mond. If they have a medium range second rounder, that makes a lot of sense. Mond to the Pates. And how about this, trading up? That's where it might start to get a little, the same way that
Patriots trade up and get. I could see that
they could trade up
or something like that.
Yeah. Well, so maybe they go something else.
Wouldn't that suck? Cam Newton's like, I'm gonna train you, Trey Lance. It's like this guy who has just like a dog shit arm.
Yeah.
He's too full of himself. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, Brady became Brady under the tutelage of Belichick. Maybe they can do it. I like the Mond. I like them going something else at 15.
Low. I think they're going to go low risk. They'll take some fucking JUCO guy.
Yeah.
They'll take some JUCO cornerback in the first round and then go Kellen Mond in the second round.
Yeah.
They'll take a kicker in the first round and then.
Who else? I was thinking maybe where do you think Hunter Henry signs? And then if so, because he's a guy I could still see being a top 6 tight end.
I could see Henry. I could see Henry going to like Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Henry going to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chris Herndon still hasn't turned it on yet. I could see Henry going to the Bengals if they really talking tight end.
See, and that's what to your point. How about Bengals need a tight end or whatever. Let's say
like Dallas.
Go fucking get a guy.
Yeah.
Go get Ertz, old guy. Or Hunter Henry's now out there, and then draft the See, Henry to the Hawks. I was thinking Ertz to the Hawks. That's a guy I could see happening. But the Jags is great. I love the Jets. I love the idea of the Jets. The idea that they're going to run back the whole Shanahan scheme and then he could be the Kittle. I like that. I like that a lot. Henry would be my guy. I like yours. Yours is probably better. Jonnu. That's great. Henry would be he's not even. It is kind of wild that Henry's not on this list, to be honest. Like, he probably should be somewhere on the top 12. Like, he was top 12 last year.
I think just because of Ertz's age, he could get bumped off the bottom.
Yeah, I think he was my biggest.
But then you got Irv, you got Jonnu, you got. I think
Henry
Irv,
still.
I think I was gonna say Irv when you asked me who could sneak in here who's not on this list.
On top 6, I was
but thinking about that, like Thielen and
he's the number 3.
Thielen and Jefferson. Like, and Irv's kind of a smaller guy. Like, I was telling you that Tyler Conklin dude, like, he filled in the Kyle Rudolph role. Yeah. Irv Smith continued to do what Irv Smith was doing.
Yeah, wasn't that weird? So maybe he's not as reliable in protection, blocking, and all that. All right, that's it for tight ends, baby. This is kind of a trade episode. Tight ends. I think next time we're gonna go live. comment below if you. I mean, at this point.
What are we doing next week? Let's say it on air so we have to commit.
All right, let's start to go defense.
You want to go defense?
I want to start to go defense.
Here's what I want to do.
Let's do just top 12 IDP period.
Okay.
If you want to do that.
Here's what I want to do.
Or you say, yeah.
I want to talk rookie quarterbacks.
Okay. You want to do that instead? That's way more fun. We'll get to defense later.
I think we should bring Sean in for an IDP conversation, or Adam, or something like that.
I would love to. Oh yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, somebody that actually probably knows a little bit more about that side of the ball. Or I mean, I don't. I mean, I know the players, but I don't know from a football perspective.
Yeah, bro. We could just talk our top 5, top 6.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk the first round projected quarterbacks, because that'll probably take an hour.
Okay.
And then we could go.
You just want to talk rookie quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about? Okay. Oh, now I want to talk about it now. God, I wish we had more time. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for watching. And.